What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, just off probably one of the biggest gets online, a nearly two-hour interview with DSP, Phil Burnell, the man, the myth, the legend. Now, to the many that strongly dislike him, to the many that love him, I am unaware of the specifics of why you may love him or why you may hate him. I asked you, the viewer, for some interview questions. I asked as many as I reasonably could. I hope the interview will be entertaining to you. I think Phil is a pretty interesting story. He seems to me to be a relatively humble man, a man willing to accept he's made mistakes in the past, but also a man that has his problems, undoubtedly, as you will see he admits to on this call. My hope is that at the end of the day, I'm not here to humanize DSP. I'm not here to dehumanize him. What I'm here to do is entertain you. And if you did enjoy this, if you want to see more of this, let me know in the comment section down below by leaving a like and a comment telling me so. If this isn't your cup of tea and you don't want to see any more of this, do the same. And to those that will be disappointed that I didn't ask a specific question, look, some things were off limits. This is the world of the interviewer and interviewee. You can't get people on your show if you're going to ask them questions that are going to make them recoil. Now, did I go hard? I think I did a few times. I asked some very specific questions that were submitted by you. Did I ask him to show me screenshots of his bank statements? No. I'm not law enforcement. One, I could not expect that, but two, I would never get an interview. So I did the best I could. I hope you enjoy it. Let's get into this interview with DSP. All
okay.
Right. I have. This is the most popular question.
Okay.
Are you ready? Where did the load go? I don't like that video I made last week. That was the first video I ever made about you, even though I've known about you for many years. I'm not like as you might call it, a detractor channel.
No, absolutely not. That's honestly one of the reasons why when I saw the video, I was like, this guy is not someone who constantly rags on me. I watched the video. Yeah, you took some shots at me. Everyone has, right?
Yeah,
so it didn't offend me. And I was like, you were actually being honest and upfront, and you were analyzing it from kind of a third party standpoint that was fair about these asshole independent media bullshit, trying to attack me. And I was like, this guy actually is like legit. Like, this is a fair video about me. Out of all the stuff that gets made about me, very rarely do I get a fair video made about me. So that's why I kind of stood out.
Yeah, I thought it was funny that, when I saw those articles came out, it was like, oh, DSP says some racist shit, and then they post to like videos from 2 years ago or something like that, of you essentially doing like ching chong bing bong, which is, by the way, done by every mainstream media, person in the last 10 years. So. It's not like you were saying anything in particular, anything crazy offensive or anything like that. And a lot of these outlets, as you saw in the video, they were unaware of your uncancelability. So maybe I'll start with, like, I don't want to just jump right in and with some like questions that are going to put you on guard or whatever. So maybe some like reasonable questions, because to be honest with you, it might surprise you. Like most of my viewers are not people that are used, like, to be honest, most people that replied to those threads were like, ask genuine questions. As you saw the list, you're like, oh, these aren't that bad.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'll start with. So, hey, I'm a YouTuber too. I'm a content creator just like you. What are your plans for for post YouTube, you know, or post streaming, or have you even thought of that? So have you given any thought to, like, I mean, I think about it, right? Like, especially because I don't have a streaming presence like you do. I just have YouTube. And I know, like, if you're on YouTube, you have maybe a year or two. If you're not, DSP. Like, most YouTubers have a pretty small window. So have you given any thought to, like, you know, what the fuck am I going to do after all this? Or, you know, how does that thought process go?
Yeah, you know, first of all, when I started, I never wanted to do this for a living at all. This was only, I wanted to do this for a hobby. And then I lost my full-time job. Out of nowhere, I got laid off, blindsided. And I just had this YouTube thing going on the side for like 2.5 years that had kind of blown up and gone viral.
This is back like 2012, 2013-ish era, right?
Actually, even before then, I lost my job in October of 2010.
Okay.
And so we're talking real old school. This was before, like, you could even monetize gameplay videos on YouTube. They wouldn't even let you put ads on them yet. And I lost my job. I was like, what am I going to do? And I already had this YouTube channel that had a good following, but it was only for gameplay. And I was like, shit, I can't monetize that. What do I do? So I had a vlogging channel where I was doing stupid crap. I was making food that was terrible food and, you know, just dumb stuff just to have some variety in my content. I said, maybe I can monetize that. So I did. And because people felt so bad about me losing my job, they actually like went nuts on the ads, and I made like a ton of money in a couple months, which is like one of my first controversies. Was that I got kicked out of Google AdSense within 2 months because they claimed that I did like invalid click activity when I didn't. It was because my fans were like so supportive of me and felt bad that I lost my job that they were clicking the crap out of my ads. But then in 2011, I got partnered with Machinima. And that's how I was able to start monetizing my gameplay videos. And I was
rest in peace, by the way, Machinima.
Yeah,
you outlasted them too. Another person that DSP has outlasted.
Yeah, that's a whole other story for another day. I was one of the people who stayed with them the longest after years of people telling me to leave them and abandon them because they saw the warning signs of them being a bad company and falling apart. But I stuck with them almost till the very end until basically they mistreated me. And I was like the last guy. I was like, I've stuck up with you guys all these years. You're going to treat me bad. I'm out of here. But anyway, I know
they had an interesting reputation. You know, you're right. They profit off of a lot of creators in the beginning that, I mean, shoot, I've been on YouTube so long that I don't know. You probably remember this too. Remember you needed like 10,000 subscribers before you could have your own channel banner? Remember you could, you know, like back in the good old days. But then I remember Machinima back then was, you know, everybody wanted, it's the only way you could make money.
Right. You had to be with someone to monetize anything really, or gameplay in particular. Because in 2011, if you weren't with a partnership company, you couldn't make a dime on a gameplay video, and that's what I was known for, you know. Yeah. But anyway, to get back to your original question, like, I never planned on doing this to make any money. Like, I fell in my lap out of nowhere overnight. I was like, oh crap, this is amazing. I'm making more money now than I ever did at my office job. You know, for 5 years that I was working there, they laid me off, and now I'm making like so much more money. It's crazy. Of course, we all know that bubble didn't last. It burst, and you know, now everything is so bad on YouTube. You know, long term for me, I absolutely love having an audience that cares about what I say and do on a daily basis. Like, I never thought in my life I would have anyone who gave a shit about what I cared about, you know, anything about a game or anything about any opinion about anything, right? It's pretty awesome to know that there's hundreds of people, thousands of people on my YouTube channel on a daily basis that want to know what I'm up to, what I'm playing, what's my opinion on a game, what's my opinion on this or that. So I don't want to like ever say that in my life I would quit doing this outright, but it's pretty unrealistic to expect that you could ever do this your whole life. You know, that's insane. This is going to, just like everything else, it's going to get fade out. It's going to become played out. This will be the next new big thing. And even in the 11 years now that I've done this, you know, I went from being a guy who recorded with a camera, not even like live streaming or direct capture. I had an actual camera, a digital camera that I pointed at my TV and was recording videos with a memory card, you know, to do gameplay. And then I went to direct capture to live streaming. Then I basically gave up on YouTube 2.5 years ago, and I'm mostly a primary live streamer now. I've evolved and changed so much over the last 11 years. Who knows what it's going to be in the next 2-3 years? Will YouTube still be how it is? Will Twitch change? Will Mixer become the next big thing? Who knows what's going to happen? We don't know. And you can't rely on that. You can't rely on that to be steady income. It just sucks that I've kind of now gotten myself into a shitty situation where I'm stuck doing what I'm doing. But my goal is that within, say, 5 years, I can get myself out of any kind of financial pressures outside of the realm of me having fun on stream and say, okay, I still want to stream, but I want to have a solid job, a steady job outside of that I
Yeah.
can do daytime. And then maybe I come home and stream 2-3 hours a night, a few days a week, and I split my time between them because I know I'm always going to have that following. Like you said, I've got longevity. I've been here 11 years. I'm always going to have some people who are interested. If I stream at 1 hour a week, I'll have people come out to see what I'm doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's no way I could do this full time. I have to do something different. I know that.
Yeah, so a lot of people ask questions like, people would ask me this too, and I know how I would answer it, but they're like, what would you even if you couldn't make money, would you still stream? And it sounds like you answer that basically like, well, sure, but I've got to pay my bills first.
Right, it'd be way less. I would have obviously have a job that would be my main focus, but I would love to do this like I used to do YouTube as a 2-hour hobby a night. Right, at home, and I'm able to do a little bit of streaming. The difference now is I can actually make money on that 2-hour stream every night. When back then I was just doing it for a hobby. I wasn't monetizing the videos or anything. It was just like for 2.5 years I was uploading gameplay videos to YouTube before I ever made a dime doing anything.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. Was there ever a point because I'm not like a expert on your career, was there ever a point where you were making any reasonable money on YouTube, or were you always kind of just using that as like kind of a dumping ground for your stream videos?
Oh no, dude! I was a full-time YouTuber from year 2011 to 2017. Early 2017. So you're talking 6 straight years. My 95% of my income was on YouTube ad revenue.
Oh, okay.
It was that big. Like my channel was that popular at one point. And the thing is, I had a formula that I had figured out that was like the sweet spot for making money with ads on YouTube. That if you had a certain length of your video, a certain amount of ads on each video, that you could like make a good amount of money just doing straight playthroughs. I didn't have to do these long edited videos like people were doing. I could just upload parts of a video game playthrough, and I was making really good money doing it.
Yeah.
But then when that adpocalypse happened in early 2017, that all changed. Like overnight, I made 50% less money, and I was like, oh my God, like I can't do this. So that's when I adopted full-time streaming, and that's what I've been doing for the past 2.5 years.
Yeah, that happened to a lot of us too. Even I felt it through several. I used to have a channel where it was just magic. Sorry, I'm getting over a cold.
It's cool. I know. I saw in your video you were getting over the flu. So
yeah. So I used to do like Magic the Gathering videos and stuff like that, and overnight it cut in half. And YouTube now seems to favor multiple uploads, which you do on your main channel, but gameplay videos just aren't what they used to be. They're just they're just not. YouTube wants to push their live streams. Let me ask you this. So now that you've been streaming on Twitch, this is one of the hottest questions. Like, whose nudes do you have from Twitch? Like, who do you have? I won't never ask you to name them, but like, has like where are you? Because where are you at with people from Twitch? Do you think you're on good terms with them?
It's funny you asked that because the honest answer I could give you is I don't think anyone like on Twitch has an issue with me. I just think that they don't want to touch me with the 10-foot pole because of the trolls that follow me around.
Yeah.
But I can give you. I'm not going to name any names. There's some examples. There's been a couple people who like I was cool with them. Sometimes they would come and hang out on my streams. I would come hang out on their streams. And within a year, they basically told me we can't do it anymore. Your trolls are like invading my fucking streams and harassing my viewers, and I can't have that. Yeah. So not anything against you, Phil, but I'd rather have it that we don't have a relationship because your trolls are toxifying my content. And I was like, fair enough. I can't. Yeah. How can I say anything to dispute that? It's not me. It's not that person. It's this outside force that follows me around like a hemorrhoid on my ass. And I don't know what to do about it, and it sucks that happens. But no, like I don't have any real close personal relationships with anyone on Twitch simply because of that. Like people are afraid to have that association because they know that they get this spillover of bad stuff onto their own content.
Well, and if you follow like modern day Twitch, my answer to a lot of people who were asking me about that with you, like, wow, how the fuck does Phil stay on Twitch? It's mostly because you don't get political, like. That seems to be a really hot button issue with Twitch, like if you And when I mean like political, isn't necessarily like, oh, I like the president or I don't like the president, but you know, the issues, right? Like you basically just stick to streaming your games, and I think that has insulated you. What do you think of the modern state of Twitch with kind of their push towards, you know, IRL streamers and these like political debate channels and stuff like that? What do you think about all that?
I think there's a space for everything. Like, I think that it was weird because Twitch started as Just in TV, which was supposed to be like that stuff.
Yeah.
But then they said, oh, we're going to become Twitch TV, and it's only gaming. In fact, I had a friend who was doing a show on Twitch TV, and when they became Twitch, they told him, you can't do your show anymore because it's not about gaming. He was like, what? They actually pushed him off of Twitch and said, we won't let you stream here unless you're going to do games. And now here we are years later. They changed their mind. Now they want everything back. But yeah, I think there's a place. Yeah. I think there's a place for everything. I really do. I think there's a space for everything. But for me, like, I would not want to go there. I am known as a gamer. People want my opinions on games. Yes, when I do an interactive stream, they'll ask me other stuff. That's fine. You want to toss other stuff into the conversation. But the last thing I want is my stream to become a place where people are coming to be just virulently angry at each other and nasty with each other about. I always say politics and religion are the two topics that I don't want to discuss in depth. If there's a game that has a topic on politics or religion, it's a part of the game's plot, okay, then we can talk about it. But sure. I'm not going to go there because there's so many people who just in the modern day, if you don't agree with them on politics or religion, that's it. That's like the shut off point. If you're not in agreement with them on what they believe for politics or religion, I don't want to watch your content. I hate your guts. I'm going to troll you. I'm going to do this and that. And I don't understand that. I'm an open mind kind of guy where, like, even though there's a lot of people I don't agree with on politics or religion, that doesn't mean that I completely write off everything that person's ever done on earth. You know, if they're a talented musician or a talented content creator, I don't say, because I don't agree with you on the politics, I hate you now. But that's how people are. So I say I don't want that on my streams. I don't want to get that stigma. Trust me, I got enough problems. I don't need to be also dealing with a whole new can of fucking worms too.
Yeah. No, I really appreciate that take. I agree with you 100%. You know, I don't, you know, so my content kind of leans towards like more of the like anti-PC, but like a lot of people view my content, they're like, oh, he's definitely a Trump supporter, for example, or he's definitely a whatever supporter. I don't even want to talk about it. Like, I want everyone to watch my content, you know, because I know once you pick a side, as you pointed out, then the other side fucking hates you.
That's right.
It wasn't always like that. And you and I have both been online long enough. It wasn't like that 5 years ago, but that's what it is now.
Yeah. The political climate really changed things. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Very hard. You got to pick and choose your topics now to make sure you don't piss off the wrong person.
Yeah. So speaking of people that hate people, you know, can you give me some insight? So I've watched, like, I went and watched a couple of streams. I'm not what, you know, like I said, what you might call a detractor channel. I haven't been, you know, I've just known you've existed forever. And so then I try to watch some of the, you know, these channels and I see where their perspective's at. And then I watch you actually interacting with your chat. It's obviously different. Where do you put yourself in your interactions with chat? You know, you spend a decent amount of time acknowledging your trolls. That must be on purpose, right? Like, so when I see trolls in my live chat, I'll either mute them or not acknowledge them. But it is part of your show. And, you know, I know you must know. You're not an idiot. You must know that some people are hate watching you. And so you interact with people or whatever the case may be. You know, where do you think, you know, how does that work into your live stream, you know, interacting with these people that are just always in your orbit, you know, just to shit on you?
Right. I mean, when I started, it wasn't like that. You know, when I started, it was YouTube, because I remember I started exclusively on YouTube. I wasn't even live streaming. And it used to be like people legitimately would come to watch your content because they were looking for something positive. They were looking for something fun, something energetic. They wanted to be a part. They were excited, right? They were always excited to be part of this new thing on YouTube. That was 10, 11 years ago. At some point, it became, we're here to shit. We're just here to take a big dump on everybody. We don't care what you do or what it is. We have to find the faults and destroy you. And they get jollies doing that, you know? And I've noticed in the last, you know, I'd say probably started in 2012. I know that's a long time ago, but,
Not
you know,
for
over the
me.
years,
Yeah.
yeah, there's a giant group of people now who just are only there to crap on me. Now, I could completely ignore them. That's true. I could over moderate. That's true. And to some extent, I used to do that. Like when I was just on YouTube, I used to heavily police my comments on my videos, heavily police them to the point where people were like, I don't like watching Phil's videos because I can't comment. When I comment, everything seems like it's super policed and commented on there or you know, moderated on there.
Yeah.
But I couldn't do it anymore. I was a one-man army. I wasn't going to sit there moderating my stuff all day. I had a life. I wanted to make more gameplay. I wanted to do other stuff. I couldn't just sit there. So at one point, I just let it go. And what I noticed systematically is over the years, more toxic people came in, more stuff just kept crapping on the videos, to the point where I noticed, like, you know, everything was still good when it came to my fans. My fans still loved my content and wanted to come see it, but there was this increasing like cloud over my head of people following me around saying negative things. And you're right. I think originally I kind of, back in the day when it first started, this negative cloud behind me, I reacted to it the worst possible way. I acknowledged it. I complained about it. I said it's not fair. I whined. I screamed. I made a big tantrum. All these guys are jerks. How could they do this? You know, there was this movement on YouTube called This Is How You Don't Play that was created off of me and my gameplay. And if I had reacted in a different way to it and probably said, oh, that's funny, that's a funny montage that people made of me, you know, it probably wouldn't have ever blown up to what it was. But they liked the fact that when they made these videos about me that I reacted to them. Oh, I got the reaction I wanted out of Phil.
Yeah.
And now when he plays a game, it's more about getting him to get angry or fail at a game so we can make another one of these to get attention for us and just kept feeding itself to become this like organic entity of this toxic cloud that kept growing and growing. So when I stream now, I realize that cloud's always there. It's never going to go away. It's associated with me permanently now, right? It's attached to me permanently. What I try to do is balance it. I can't say it doesn't exist because there are people who actively will come in my chat and actually are supportive. They'll contribute via, you know, the methods you contribute on Twitch, and they'll help me to keep going, but they're only there to really wait for that moment when I screw up in a fighting game and I swear and I get angry at the person or I overreact in a game. You know, they're waiting for that moment of fail to really latch on and say, haha, I got him. Now let's make fun of him and stuff. You got to kind of laugh with it, you know. And back then, when I first started, like I said, earlier days, 7, 8 years ago, I wasn't like that. I thought my shit didn't stink. I was like, how could anyone criticize me or make fun of me? That's not right. Now I'm a different person. Like I've learned over the years, you got to roll with that. Now, some people say don't acknowledge it at all. But the thing is, if a lot of people are doing it and you don't acknowledge it at all, now it's like they're not going to come back. Or at the same time, what I've noticed is some people, if they don't get that acknowledgement, it just makes it worse. They'll try to find another way to intrude. If I just let it roll and pretend like it's a natural part of my stream, it doesn't bother people that much. In fact, there's a few negative memes that have come up that at first they pissed me off, but I realized if I embrace the meme and I make it my own, it's not a big deal anymore. Yeah. And so that's what I've been trying to do. I make emotes now in my chat of some of the memes that are negative memes because that way it takes the power away from them and people don't see it as a negative anymore because everyone's doing it, right? Yeah. So that's kind of how I've been trying to embrace it in the last couple of years since I've become a full-time streamer is understand it's there, recognize when it's there. Don't make the whole stream about it because there's positive people there who are there to also enjoy my content on a positive level. And they don't want to just hear negative the whole stream. But if it's there, laugh at it, make a sarcastic comment about it, and move on. Don't dwell on it all the time. But at the same time, when you allow that thing to have power, you know what I mean? It gets even worse. And at the same time, if you don't acknowledge it at all, that's a group of people that, number one, could be contributing and they're not because now they feel like you don't care anymore. And number two, that's a group of people that might find another way to hurt you more maliciously behind the scenes because what they're doing isn't working. So let's find another way to screw him, you know, behind the scenes that's not on his live stream. Yeah,
that's good to hear because, you know, I told people when I said we were going to talk, people are like, oh, he's not going to talk about it, blah, blah, blah. I said, no. When I talked to him in private, he understood. He's like, look, we can talk about the shit where I fucked up. You know, we could talk about some of the funny stuff. I don't want to talk about personal finances, by the way, which is fine. I don't want to talk about my exes, which is also, by the way, fine. You know, and it's one thing where there are guys that have been out there. I've been out there more than 10 years too, but under several different channels. And there have been guys out there, you know, I don't know if you put yourself in the same category with them, but as a layman, there have been people who've streamed for a really long time and they have a large group of detractors and they still have you know, it's when it starts out great. Look, when I started my YouTube channel, I had like a 99% upvote on every video I did.
Right.
But over the years, you know, you piss a few people off. Even your most loyal fans are the ones that turn into the ones that really hate you the most. You know, and so then it went from 10. If I had 10 dislikes on a video, I was like, whoa, what the I fuck up. Now, if I have like 100, now I'm like, oh, okay. So I definitely feel like I understand where that's at. I look at a guy like you and a guy like Wings, and where both of you have been on long enough where you have long kind of, or you have, I'm sorry, a solid group of haters, but you also have a solid group of you're still your fans. And where Wings, I don't know, he probably has it worse than you, where like, but he still reacts like old Phil used to react. If I could talk to DSP, I would say, dude, you got to lean into the meme, because eventually it's not going to be as fun to make fun of you, because you're like, yeah, I fucked up, you know,
right.
Whatever, this happened and whatever, you know. How do you see, you know, he talks about now, there's a recent stream where he was like, basically like, look, I got to turn my haters into payers, essentially. I've got to convert, you know, because these are the people that are coming in. He's got several channels that basically are 100% dedicated to making montage, and you've got a few of them too.
Oh,
so how do you approach that type of content now? What do you think of these dedicated channels that are basically just memeing on you?
See, here's the thing. Again, I'm different now than I used to be. When I was a full-time YouTuber, I was like really pissed off about it. And I would call these channels out. They're stealing my content. I wish I could take them down, blah, blah, blah. I'm not even like that anymore. Like for me, I don't mind that they exist as long as what they do is, I don't care if you take a shot at me. I don't care if you make fun of me. I don't care if you call me a lol cow. I don't care what the frick you call me. But don't try to actually like hurt myself or my livelihood or my family. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because sadly, there's people who do take it that far. And I hate to say it, but the people who make those channels don't realize that what they're doing is kind of putting the ammo into a group of people who aren't like them. You know, those guys, they're doing it for laughs. They're doing it to make fun of me and to make some popularity, get popularity on my expense, right?
Yeah.
You know, they're not laughing with me. They're laughing at me, but they get a rise. They make some money doing it. Whatever. It's fine. I don't care about that. What I care about is now the person who watches all their content comes after me and my family personally, which has happened many times.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm worried about. Like, I don't care if someone makes a video, this is how you don't play, here's a montage of Phil sucking at Dark Souls. Big deal. But you make a video that says, Phil is 100% a scammer, and he regularly, every day, he steals money from his viewers by lying to them constantly, and he's a really dishonest, disgusting person, and he really shouldn't exist. You're going to get people who are going to, like, in their head, not understand that that's a video to make fun of me. They think this is a call to action. And now they think that they have to do everything they possibly can to hurt someone like me or someone like me. Some of the stuff that's happened, you know, you wouldn't even believe some of the stuff that people have tried to do.
I mean, I've had it all too.
I've
had swattings. I've had to deal with a lot of that bullshit too. People calling my fucking mom, who doesn't even know how to use Facebook or whatever.
Right.
You know, people called my mother-in-law and told her that I was a neo-Nazi. and she's like, what? No, like, he hangs out with black dudes. I know that. Yeah, like, but like, so I've had issues like that too. But, you know, as you probably are aware, you know, and I said I wouldn't ask any questions about it specifically, but that is the biggest issue with your detractors, is the money, right? Like,
yeah. Oh yeah, I would think so. Now, the thing is, you can't really get a straight answer, because depending on who you ask, the way that it works with my detractors, I don't know about Wings and everybody else, because I stay out of everyone else's business. I really do. I don't know anything about what's going on with these other guys. But with me, it's called moving the goalpost, meaning their issue with me today is money. So, okay, so something happens and, you know, okay, that's an issue. But then when that's not an issue anymore, the next thing is the issue. Because originally it wasn't about money. When I started on YouTube, I was making tons of money. I didn't need money. I wasn't asking for donations. I wasn't asking for people to tip me on streams or do any of this stuff. I was rolling in ad revenue. So I didn't need to ask. Back then it was, oh, Phil's a cocky asshole. He doesn't take his playthrough seriously. He insults the game developer. So I changed my attitude. I'm not going to do that anymore. Oh, well, now Phil did this and Phil did, and that's the thing. Like, there's always a new thing that they seem to now bring up as the thing that they hate me for. I would say initially they'll tell you it's money, but then if you kind of debunk what they're talking about, oh, that didn't really happen. Here's what really happened. Oh, well, didn't you also know that Phil did this and this and this and this and this and this and this?
Yeah.
You know?
You know what the big one that came up with the most was this cat thing. Do you know what that's about? Like,
oh, yeah.
People said, here's how it was told to me, that like he had an X goal for money and then to reveal something, and then it was his cat. What was that even about? Was that, how long ago was that?
That was a few months ago. 2 months ago? 3 months ago? Okay. It was fairly recently.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. That's right. That's probably why they're all talking about it, because it just happened a few months ago.
Oh, okay.
But no, I had a stream where I told everyone it was a special event, a marathon style stream, that I was going to be playing a certain amount of games, certain type of game. You know, it was a kind of a gimmick event because I needed to raise funds. I was in a big, bad financial position. I had a bunch of things coming up that I needed to pay, and I looked at it. I know I can't do it. Now, I know my fans will support me if I ask for it. So I said, I'm going to do a special marathon stream to raise tips. And if I hit a certain level, a goal level of what I like to raise during that day, I'm going to give you guys a positive reveal as a way to say thank you. And this is something that could maybe even affect positively my streams in the future or my content. We'll see, you know. But that's how I spun it. It wasn't, oh, you know, this is a life-changing event. I'm promising you guys the world that there's going to be some crazy thing if we raise a certain amount of money. And I never even told anyone what the amount of money was or anything. It was just in fact, that morning, I just out of my head pulled a random number out of my head, never expecting that I would reach it. And the number was $1,000. Okay. I was like, I'll never reach this on one stream. I'll never do this, right? That's crazy.
That'd be a killer stream.
What the hell? I'll pull it out of the sky. I'll put it up as a goal. Maybe it'll motivate people. If I had got a couple $100, I would have been thrilled, right? Yeah. So I do the stream, and it's about 3/4 through the stream, and it's almost over. And I'm like, well, guys, you know, just so you know, here we are. The stream's almost over. There's the goal. Here's where we are. And people were like, well, are you still going to reveal the thing at the end of the stream? I was like, I don't know. We'll see. And the truth of the matter is, I was going to do it anyway. I didn't tell anyone that because obviously you want to motivate people to contribute. I was going to do it anyway. But I want to motivate people to contribute. All of a sudden, people started coming out of the woodwork and started contributing. If you can believe it, we hit the goal. Okay?
Damn.
So I'm like,
that's a good day's work.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, this is amazing. Stop the presses. We'll stop playing games. I just want to introduce you to my pet cat, who had lived with me for a while now, and I actually have completely kept him under wraps because, as I told you, I have such this weird cloud of haters that they try to fuck with my private life, and I knew that anything that I reveal about my private life, they make it a negative, no matter what. So I'd actually kept my cat private and not let anyone know about him for a long time. It was a secret. I never let him in my office. The funny thing is he has a bell around his neck. Damned if I know how they didn't hear it in the hallway, like ringing behind the door or whatever. But they never did.
I have 5 cats, by the way.
Oh, really? So there you go. You know they make noise and stuff. So good God, Lord knows how no one knew that I had a cat. I don't know. Maybe they guessed or whatever. But so finally I say, here he comes. And I let him in and I'm playing with him and we're having fun. And the thing is, there were 2 groups of people. My fans, my actual fans, were super happy. They were like, that's the cutest cat ever. This is a cool reveal. This is something that Phil never does, reveals part of his personal life. He hasn't done this in such a long time. This is really actually cool. This is cooler than what we thought it was going to be. Some people thought it was going to be, I'm announcing I'm adding a piece of equipment to the stream or something. But to see this, cat and the cat now, the cat has free roam to come into my office whenever it wants now. I leave the door open. So if he wants to join me on a stream, he'll come in. It was funny. Today I'm playing Street Fighter and he's like messing with my hand when I'm trying to do moves and stuff. You know, it's a funny, silly thing.
They do that, yeah.
But the thing that gets me is, there's the other group of people. Oh my God, that's it? So Phil charged $1,000 to see his cat? Oh my God, I can't, what a dishonest scammer. He said this was going to be something amazing and he was going to really contribute to the streams and this is a bullshit. And that's how they spin it. Now, on top of all that, what ended up happening in the next 20 minutes was crazy. So I'm playing with my cat and everything. A longtime fan of mine came out to the stream late and was like, oh, this is amazing. And he gave me another $1,000.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I've never had a donation that big. Like, that's crazy.
It was nuts. I was like, I wasn't expecting that. That's crazy, right? I'm super happy now, obviously. But then again, so now the new conspiracy is this whole thing was planned. Phil already had someone lined up to give him the $1,000 behind the scenes. So the whole thing was a scam to get his other fans to give him money too. You know, this is what I mean. This is what these people do. They think these crazy conspiracy theories up. Okay. And they spin them into fact. And you mentioned these channels that just detract on me constantly, they all had their own weird story about the cat story that Phil scammed his viewers, not out of $1,000 but $2,000 somehow.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was all a plan behind. It was some malicious plan behind the scenes. It's like, but if you were there and you were live for the event, you would realize none of that happened. It was actually a very positive, fun stream. People were having fun with games. They were contributing slowly. And then all of a sudden they realized, oh, man, he didn't hit the goal. Let's help Phil out. And at the last minute, everyone kind of rallied. We hit the goal. It was amazing. Okay, here's my cat. You know, not really a big deal. It wasn't like I was publishing this for months that this was going to be a crazy, life-changing reveal for everyone. It was just something as a reward, a little positive thing at the end of the stream if we hit the goal.
All right.
And like I said, I was definitely going to show the cat anyway. I wasn't going to like hold it back as a secret. I was eventually going to show the cat, but people just want to make shit up. And that's the thing. That's the hot new thing. That Phil's a scammer. His $2,000 cat.
Well, yeah, I mean, so I really don't watch those. There's a couple of YouTube channels that I watch that will occasionally meme on you a little bit, but I don't watch some of these. I mean, I watch some of the Wings channels because they're fucking hilarious. Wings is just a different dude. Like, he hasn't figured out how to lean into it yet, and he's still, you know, but the funny thing was that was a really big deal. And looking back at it, do you think maybe that like I do it with thumbnails all the time, like I think the title's okay, or I think, like you say, hey, look, I just thought I was gonna do something, you know, important. But sometimes it's hard to judge like how your viewers, or in your case, also your strong detractors, will view something like that. You know, they're probably like, oh, Phil's got a kid on the way, or something like that. And sometimes you can't avoid the way people react to your thumbnails. That's how I view it with your titles. So maybe that was a case of where like, oh shit, maybe I should have had like a more, you know, normal title kind of thing.
Yeah, the thing is, you're right. Like, how do you say that? Because essentially, I didn't want to spoil. And it's like, oh, it's a minor, or it's a kind of a middle-level thing. People were guessing, of course, the whole time. They were guessing, is it a pet? Is it this or that? I can't give them a hint. And the problem is, when you don't give a hint, now they naturally build it up to be bigger than what it's supposed to be, right? They're building their own expectations up. And I can't do anything about that. Now, the funny fact about the whole thing is, every single person who contributed that day liked it. Every person who contributed on that stream was happy. I never got a single person who came to me and said, Phil, I feel like the contribution that I gave you was dishonest. It's because you told us one thing and it was another. And the thing is, that's what always happens when I have to do fundraising or whatever. The people are happy. The people who actually contribute aren't the people with the issue. It's the people who criticize me, the people who do full-time detraction on me that always have the issue. It's never the people who are positively contributing. It's the people on the outside watching that seem to have the issue. So who really got scammed? Was it the viewer who contributed and was happy with the result, or was it the person who blew up the expectation to be something it wasn't, and now now we could use this as more fuel for more videos for our channels, and that's essentially what it turned into.
Okay. Let me ask you a non-drama related. Let's get back on like an interesting. So this was an interesting one that came in, and I do appreciate it. By the way, I'm gonna keep to the time that you said you had. You've already been very generous with your time. So
I can go, just so you know, I can go till about. Honestly, I could probably go till about 11 p.m. my time, so I could go like another 40 minutes if you wanted. I'm good.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Let's see how you keep. Talk to me in 20 minutes. See how you feel. Here's one that I thought, you know, while I should ask you about the arcade 1-up machines too, because I'm gonna get your opinion on those in a minute, because I just bought a bunch of them. Are you familiar with those?
I've seen them in the stores. Yeah, I saw they're like smaller versions of arcade cabinets of various games you could get on them. I've seen them. Yeah.
They had a Street Fighter 2 one that I bought today, a Mortal Kombat one that I bought. They come with a riser, so they're like more like a normal height, but they're still not the same as they were.
Yeah, they're small.
Old heads like us remember actually playing on them. You know, like that. What was the one game? Killer Instinct. Like I remember that. Like anyway. One person asked this: while playing fighting games, why do you hold your controller like you're playing an arcade game? Does it help somehow? Is that, I didn't think that was like a troll question. I thought they were being genuine. So
yeah, I think what they're saying, I wonder if I could bring a controller over here to show you what I think they mean. Hold on a second.
Yeah,
I think what they mean is, so there's two ways to hold a controller. The natural way to hold a controller is to use your thumbs, and then you use your fingers on the shoulder buttons. But when I play fighting games on a controller, I actually go like this, and I use my fingers and I push on top. And the reason is I find that especially for fighting games, a lot of the button inputs are multiple button inputs, and trying to push two buttons with the thumb especially can be very unreliable. Maybe you hit one but not the other. So when I do like this, I seem to like be able to simultaneously hit the buttons, and the reason is because I grew up on arcades. I actually used to be a competitive Street Fighter player, and I used to play on American style controls where the buttons were face buttons on the arcade. You couldn't hit those with your thumb; they were too big. You had to use your individual fingers to hit the buttons top down, and that's how when I play fighting games, a lot of the times, especially Mortal Kombat and stuff like that, I'm pressing the buttons flat because it's very hard to do it with just the thumb. At least very difficult from my perspective.
That makes sense. That makes sense. So it sounds like that was actually a legit question. The have you seen the Neo Geo has a new mini where it's basically like the old Neo Geo? Because if you played old arcade games like I did, a lot of those were just basically Neo Geo carts.
Same hardware.
Yeah, same hardware, just a different input. So now they have like a mini that has the full arcade style controller. Any interest in playing on that?
Absolutely, yeah, that's cool. Right now, I'm playing the Genesis Mini, and I'm really enjoying it.
I love it. They did the best. They did better than anyone else. Better than the NES Mini, the Super NES Mini. The Genesis Mini is great.
It's just so good. The cool retro music they designed just for it, and it's all your favorite games plus some additions that are new. It's really sweet, and it's such a variety too. You can just do a stream and play 7-8 different games on a stream and have so much fun. Yeah, I love it. Yeah,
Earthworm Jim, classic.
Yeah.
I'm friends with the creator of that guy too.
Oh wow!
He's got a new comic, Earthworm Jim comic that's coming out and stuff like that. And then the guy from Tommy from Intellivision, which is the company that now they own Earthworm Jim. They also have the original way back. You and I will remember Intellivision, but they have a new retro console coming out. That's kind of like the Genesis Mini or whatever, but it'll have Intellivision games. But it'll also have a brand new Earthworm Jim game on it, which will be exclusive to that too. So that's kind of a fun scene. Somebody asked this question. I don't know if there's a legitimate answer. If there's not, we can skip it. But do you have a favorite titty mod for Skyrim?
Oh my God, no! I've never played any mod. I played Skyrim on PC back in the day when it first came out, before the mods even hit. And when that game came out on PC, it was so buggy. It was like so many issues with the game.
Yeah, for many years almost, it was
half the dragons wouldn't render for me. They looked like these gooey purple Barney monsters. It was like really effed up. But no, I know I've never played any mods. I'm not a PC gamer essentially. I'm mostly console. Like 95% of the games I play are usually on console. So no, I don't have a legit answer because I never done any mods.
No,
for
that's
Skyrim.
fair. That's a fair answer though. I've never been a mod guy myself. But I know there are titty mods for that game. So I was like, I didn't know. I was like, hey, maybe Phil plays it on stream. I don't know. So a lot of questions pertain to this documentary, which you probably know. I don't know if you ever watched it, but I'm not going to ask any specifics from it. But I'm only going to ask if you watched it. And is this Down the Rabbit Hole?
Yeah, no, I've never seen it. I've never seen the thing. I've heard about it. I've seen snippets of it. But I've never just sat down and watched it. And I basically know that these things exist out there about me, and I know that some of them are fair and some of them are completely unfair. I've heard this is one of the more fair ones.
I would say I've watched it twice. I watched it before our call today, and then I watched it like when I first reached out. I didn't think it was like memeing on. I mean, basically, it's like, hey, here's Phil. He outlays some of your early career, which is probably accurate. Talks about your AdSense bullshit, which you already, basically said, hey, this is what happened. That's accurate. Some of your low light moments in the early fighting scene where you're caught on tape being a dickhead.
Obviously, that was all the time back then. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I was such an asshole when I played Street Fighter competitively. I was super dickhead. I admit that openly. I was just a real asshole.
So I mean, right. So like, okay, so that's accurate. But this does shape the way a lot of people know who you are, right? Like a lot of people nowadays, where YouTube, they couldn't give a fuck about creators like you or I nowadays, unless you're like Will Smith or some Hollywood actor. They might recommend. You actually used to have videos on the YouTube homepage back when they would put popular videos on the homepage. Now it's like, The Tonight Show and Saturday Night Live. And, So I think just to kind of complete the thought on the kind of the detractor videos, from the outside looking in, you know, I view them mostly as a positive. And it sounds like you mentioned earlier, you know, hey, basically, as long as they don't go, you know, crazy over the line or try to fuck me over, they're still a good thing. Like they're still a thing that keeps me, you know, interested in me going.
Yeah, to some extent, because you know, it's like you and I just said, we know this isn't going to last forever. What, most YouTubers have a couple of years, 3-4 years, where maybe they could stay on top, and then that's it. It fizzles out.
Yeah.
And for me, because there's always a controversy about me, which literally I half the time don't even know about, you know, it keeps people coming to watch. I don't mind it as long as it's not something that's going to not allow me to make a living or not allow me to do what I love, or it's going to hurt myself or my family.
Yeah.
And the things that I don't like is when people lie, outright lie.
Well, there was
that does happen about me a lot.
Yeah, of all the shitty things DSP has done, and there are many, the only one I ever had a problem with was the striking or flagging other people's videos, which you've said in this stream, like, yeah, hey, look, that was old me.
Back in the day,
I didn't like that.
There was no, like, back in the day, like way back in the day, we're talking again, like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
There was like no way to do anything about that stuff besides ask nicely. Hey, you know, I think the video you made is real mean about me. Could you take it down or talk to me about it first? Get my permission? Because you basically used my content without permission. Maybe if you had asked first, I would have said, okay, it's kind of messed up that you just did this without my permission.
Yeah.
Today it's the Wild West. Everyone uses everyone's content for anything under the sun.
Yeah. Fair use is just, it's over now, right? I see people use my content too. I'm like, whatever. Fuck. I can't do anything about it even if I wanted to.
Right. But back then it was a relatively new thing, and I saw that it literally was those "this is how you don't play" videos took a negative light to my content in a way that had never happened before and made it virally popular, and I was terrified because I didn't have anything to fall back on at the time, and I was like, what's going to happen if now people hate my guts overnight and I have no recourse? So admittedly, back in the day, there were a few people who I tried to like take down their videos. It was, by the way, I'll say this, it wasn't a lot. It was maybe a small handful over the course of a couple of years. In fact, a couple of times it was Machinima who did it, and I didn't even ask them to. They just went ahead and did it on my behalf, and I found out later, and then I got shit for it because people were saying that I'm telling Machinima to do stuff that I never told them to do. This is another issue that I have with Machinima behind the scenes. But
it sounds like you regret that, and you're not like that way anymore, though, which is the important thing.
There's no point to doing it. There's no point. It doesn't productively do anything to try to take down other people's videos. If anything, I just wish more people would understand and be more conscious that when you're going to make those kind of videos, that concretely can hurt someone. Because here's a personal example. Back in the day, I used to just say shit for shock value. I would say completely misinformed things. Like I would say anyone who plays Minecraft is a small child and an idiot, and why would anyone play Minecraft? They're all dumbasses, right? And people would actually like believe me because I had a big following back then. They were like, no, why, it's true. Everyone who plays Minecraft's an immature idiot. I didn't know anything about Minecraft. I had never played it. I knew nothing about it. I was just talking out of my ass to get shock value out of my videos. Okay. And now I realize, my God, like I was so irresponsible. That's a messed up thing to do, right? And you should have
been playing Minecraft all these years. Look at fucking PewDiePie.
Exactly. If I had jumped on those bandwagons back then, I would have been way bigger than I ever was. But I was a very obstinate, ignorant person who just thought this whole thing was kind of a joke. I never really took YouTube seriously back then, and I thought this is just messed up. I'll just say whatever I want, and people will laugh at it or whatever. Now I regret saying a lot of the things that I said and did back then. Some of the racial humor that was kind of way over the top. That I know I look back then, I'm like, there's generalities, and some of the stuff I said was kind of way too far in one direction.
It's a different time too, I mean, it was like 10 years ago. This is a perfect example. By the way, I'm gonna bring up a question that I think anybody else asking it would bother you, but I will tell you first. I have gout. I understand how bad it fucking hurts. I get it in my big toe and my foot, and there is nothing, and I mean nothing, that takes the pain away.
That's right.
So, and you mentioned the kind of so essentially this whole cancellation thing was basically, Phil did these ching chong bing bong jokes, and whatever. I'm not one of those people that's offended by them. You can find them unfunny, fine, but I'm not going to put any stock in the fact that you're offended by it. Fuck off. But especially when it was fucking years ago, Stephen Colbert had a whole character named Ching Chong Ding Dong or something like that. And nobody said anything about that. So, this funniest cancellation thing was the, you don't joke about my gout, but also Ching Chong Bing Bong. That was basically, the Daily Dots article, right? And then Deserto basically wrote the same article. Like, well, Phil, look, that's just not the same. Like, I'm assuming you misspoke, like, whatever. But I do know gout fucking hurts. And I hate it. I hate it so badly. And it sucks. And for me, it's if I kind of manage everything, it's relatively self-inflicted. If I get a flare up, sometimes though, I take alpurinol, which is like you know what that is, a gout medicine. But so I always thought that was funny. I felt like a kindred spirit when I was reading these articles. Like, oh, he's upset that people are giving him shit about gout. Like, okay, probably not the best thing to use as a shield for Ching Chong Bing Bong, though.
No, see, that's the thing. They'll take something that first of all, it wasn't even like I was on a stream and I was, let's have a serious conversation. It was like a pre-stream where people were like filing into my stream and I was giving like a little interim talk before I start with my gameplay for the day. A lot of the times I'm shooting the shit. I'm just joking around or I'm just messing around. And someone will ask me like a super like question. They're really trying to start something. You know what I mean? Like they're purposely trying to get a rise.
When it's a bait
incite
question.
Something. And so a question comes in and it was like, how do you justify that? Well, how do you complain when people make fun of your own personal issues like your gout? Yeah. How do you say that's not right? But then you could make a racial joke, like you just said, a generalized racial joke, and that's okay. Yeah. And I guess maybe I didn't elaborate myself in the best way. I don't know. It was literally a 2-minute thing out of a 4+ hour stream.
That spawned like 4. Stream. Yeah, it was like 4 or 5 articles that wrote about that.
Yeah, I don't know where they got it from. Someone had to tip them off or say something. There had to be a slow news day, and they had nothing to write about, and someone sent them something. Oh, here's a clip of a streamer or whatever. Yeah. And but no, obviously, if you would allow me to take a minute to actually clarify what I'm saying. There's a difference between generalized humor and a personal attack. Okay, generalized humor, making a generalized joke about a race, making a generalized joke about a gender, making a generalized joke about anything that's a category that's in general, is not directed at a singular person, right? So yes, you could take it personally if you're a person of that group, absolutely. And I do think that there are situations where you can go to the extreme and it is too far. But I don't honestly feel, besides maybe I can say one time ever, that I know I went too far, and I've apologized for it profusely over the years. This was something that happened in 2010, by the way. So we're talking 9 years ago. Yeah, okay. And people still bring it up to this day. But outside of that one instance, I don't ever feel like when I do generalized humor about a race or whatever, that it's over the top insulting towards that race, and I'm meaning to like maliciously attack people of that race. It's more of a generalized observation, much like Chris Rock makes so many racial observations in his kind of comedy, right? Mm-hmm. And if I do something like that, most of my audience gets it. There's always a few people who don't. In fact, I realized over the years not to do it anymore, because when I do those generalized racist jokes, I say racist, but you know what I mean. That's how they categorize it as racist.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
People will get upset no matter what. In this current climate, people just can't take that kind of joke anymore. 10 years ago when I started on YouTube, people loved it. In 2010, or was it 2009? I can't remember. I had a top 10 most racist moments of the year countdown on YouTube, and it was one of my most viewed videos of the year. It was all racist kind of jokes that I made, things that other people said in my videos, and it was popular. People loved it. Now, my God, you show them that video today, they'll try to crucify you.
Yeah. So do that. Isn't that funny? In 10 years, it feels like 100. People have just gotten totally. So if I'm understanding you, allow me to paraphrase. You tell me if I'm understanding you correctly. Look, you make some like, hey, Asians are bad at driving. Haha. Like, there's no malicious intent there. Or also similarly, you could say, gout, fucking King's disease. Who the fuck gets gout anymore? that's like a joke about gout. You would say that's okay, but don't say, haha, Phil, you stupid fuck, you have gout, that kind of thing. Is that, am I
don't
understanding
even care.
right?
It's a fact that I have it, right? It's a fact that I have it. Yes, I don't always have it. It flares, like it flares up, it goes away. It's something I'll have to do for the rest of my life, and it's a diet thing and a medication thing, and it is what it is. But when people come to my stream and say, haha, you have gout. Well, first of all, okay, what's your point? This is a gameplay stream. What the hell? Okay. It's not funny. It's not topical. It's just completely derailing the stream. What are you even talking about? Why are you bringing that up? It kind of, it's jarring. People are like, what the hell are you even saying that for? But then you get the person, ha, you fat mother effer, you waste of life, you stupid alcoholic piece of crap. You have it because you're a disgusting individual. Well, obviously they just broke every possible rule that you should have on a stream, and they're going to get moderated for it, right?
Is that what
and that's what I mean.
Is that what gets you the booze? For me, it's if I drink too many days kind of in rapid succession, and if I eat like greasy food, that's what gets me. I know there's lots of different, you get like a list, and it's like, oh, you shouldn't eat like greens, like super green greens, or this food list. For me, if I go out on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I ate like shit over the weekend, it gets me every time. It'll last fucking 2 weeks.
For me, it's the red meat. Like, I used to eat tons of red meat. I used to eat steak. I would have burgers. I would, every moment, lunch meat. I loved red meat. And I would drink. I used to drink way more back in the day.
Were you like a wine guy?
No, I was like rum. At one point, I was really heavily into rum, and then it was like gin and mixed drinks, not not shots,
me too.
but like
that's
mixed drinks,
too.
stuff like
mixed
that.
Drinks. Yep.
And not having any kind of responsibility. I would just eat red meat 5 days in a row. Drink, drink whatever I wanted. I'm a fucking YouTuber. I just got to film videos tomorrow. Who cares if I got a hangover when I play video games, right? Who gives a crap? That's how my attitude was when I first started this whole thing 10 years ago. And it caught up with me about, I think it was 2015. It caught up with me in 2015 where I got it
How old
bad.
Were you, about 30?
All of a sudden. At that point, I was, 33.
Yeah, that's about when it hit for me, to be honest with you. Like, I don't think you're fat. Like, I'm a big guy. And I never had a problem till I was probably 33, 34. Then one day I woke up and I couldn't walk. And
out of nowhere.
Yeah.
What did I do? Did I break my foot? What did I do? Because you don't think it could be gout. You're like, I sprained my ankle. I broke a bone. What the hell did I do?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That was kind of the running joke around my family, even with me. Like, gout, what the fuck? And I'm like, hey, imagine having broken glass in your joint.
Yep.
And then having it always be there, where my big toe is like swollen up to like 3 times the size, Right. And people around me eventually understood, like, okay, well, we're not going to give them shit about it because we know, like, it's brutally painful.
It's debilitating. It's to the point where your life has to change for 2 weeks until it goes away. Yeah. Because it's so bad. And people want to make fun of you. And you're like, dude, I'm sitting on a stream pretending my foot doesn't hurt. So I can make money today and I'm trying to put on a happy face for a stream when I've got daggers in my foot. And people want to make fun of me for it. Like,
do you get it in your foot too? Is that where you get it?
Yep, okay. Foot. Same thing as you, big toe. Because that's the most common place.
Oh, yeah, because I've read about, like, there's sometimes people getting their elbows, sometimes people getting whatever. For me, it's always big toe. And, no walking. No amount of elevation matters. Like, no sock on foot out, and just ride it out. And, if you go have a good doctor, you get some pain meds. But otherwise, just like, you can't do anything. So let me ask you, do you are you out in Seattle now?
Yeah, I live just outside of Seattle. Seattle. Yeah.
Somebody asked this question. It's more specific. I got a bunch of questions which probably seem like some of your fans too. So maybe this is like said when DSP moved out to the Seattle area, he was excited to meet people, experience the outside. And look, if these are like secret clone troll questions, I literally don't know. I try to pick the ones that seem genuine. Experience more outside of his new home. Does DSP feel like he accomplished any of this?
The reason they're asking that question is because they know that because of my current
is it a
financial
troll question?
situation, it's a
Okay.
financial situation question. They know I have to work 6 days a week full time, and I get 1 day a week off to spend with my wife, and that's it. I
Yeah.
don't have time to go out and have friendships. I literally have to work my ass off to keep everything I have because I'm in a really bad financial position behind the scenes. So when they're asking that, they're taking a jab and saying, haha, Phil doesn't have friends. He doesn't have a life outside of
Oh,
streams.
all right. Okay, I'm
Ha,
sorry.
ha, ha.
I didn't know.
No, it's
I
cool.
didn't know.
I know you didn't know. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's perfectly fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you. So, if this is too specific, we can skip it totally. Like, this has been great and really informative for me this far too. I hope you're having a good time. I'm having a good time.
Sure. Absolutely.
So one of the things so many people bring up is fucking, like, I'm not gonna ask you anything specific, but as a content creator, I had to learn the hard way, just like you did, and I'm thinking I understand the situation better than most of the detractors would. A lot of people bring up the taxes shit, and I try to explain to people what it's like getting big checks from YouTube or Twitch, and like learning to plan financially around that. My first 2 years, I was making any money on YouTube. I had 1 year I had to pay in like $40,000, and I had nothing. Right, so I was like I had to extend my taxes to October, and I had like $5,000. I had to borrow money from my parents just to pay my fucking taxes. And then the next year, my accountant was like, hey, you should really be paying in every month. And I was like, I just borrowed all this money from my parents. I got to pay them back. Plus I got to pay my life, pay my bills. I can't do that. And only recently did I end up in a situation where I can effectively plan around income and pay in every month. Is that something is that kind of describe why things are tight the way they are, or am I not understanding? Because I'm thinking when people bring up your taxes, I'm like, oh, I know why. Because he's like me, he didn't fucking pay his taxes, and all of a sudden they're like, whoops, you owe this bunch of money, and then you end up behind, and then behind, and then behind,
Right.
Things like that.
For me, it's okay. That's obviously that factors into it, but sadly for me, my story is it's a lot more complex. I can go into it, and I guess you can make a judgment call on if this is something that people should hear or not, I guess.
All right, I'm going to write down the timestamp so I can go back, and you can decide later if you want me to keep it. Go ahead.
So when I started on YouTube, I was making ridiculous money out of nowhere. It was just insane, the amount of money I was making. For 2 years, I made more money than I'll probably ever make in my life in 2 years. Like, it was just insane. I couldn't believe it. And then after that, the bubble burst. It was the first bubble that burst on YouTube. And the money went boom. I'm like, okay, I'm still making good money. Like, even with the dip, I'm still making crazy good money. And I took all that money that I made in those years and I saved a lot of it. And I used it to pay off all my previous debts of my life. Like, I had student loans. I had all kinds of shit. And I paid it all off. So I was in the clear. Like, essentially, all I had was a mortgage on a condo in Connecticut that I lived in where I made all my content in. And that was it. That was, and by the way, not a ritzy place or whatever, but Connecticut is expensive as shit. Connecticut is very expensive. So even a little place costs over $100,000 in Connecticut. That's how crazy expensive everything is there.
Sure.
So I have this mortgage and no debt.
How long
At that
ago
point,
was
I was
this?
living. What's that?
How long ago was this? Early 2000s?
So that was 2011, 2012, and to some extent 2013.
Gotcha.
So I was making so much money that I was like, I got to get out of here. I hate living in Connecticut. I seriously got to get out of this state. The state is way too expensive. The taxes there are astronomically high. I'm paying state tax plus a business tax, like a extra tax on top of it, plus federal income tax, and prices are high. Everything. It's like insane. Why am I operating a business out of Connecticut when I'm a YouTuber? I could live in a million other places that are cheaper.
Yeah. I've been there. Yeah.
So I looked at that point. I looked at the whole country, and I was looking at different areas. Florida and Texas are both like ridiculously good for business, but the weather sucks.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to live there.
You might like
very
that.
hot.
Some people
humid,
like it.
hot. Yeah.
I live in Wisconsin. I don't like it, but
So
a lot of internet personalities live in Texas, I noticed.
Yeah, apparently like one of the best business
for taxes.
friendly states for taxes. It's like nothing. You get away with everything basically. You don't have to pay anything.
Yeah.
So when I'm doing my research, I'm doing all this research, and I find out about the state of Washington. They have no state income tax. but they, the taxes here are
The
decently.
sales tax are high though, right?
Sales tax, I believe, is around 10%.
Yeah, it's
but
very
I was
high.
already paying 7% in Connecticut.
Yeah.
And out here with no state income tax, it's way bigger savings because
Yeah.
I'd rather spend money when I choose to spend than just have it taken away by default. You know what I
Sure.
mean?
Yeah,
So,
that makes sense.
so out here, the weather I like better and everything. The houses out here way cheaper than in Connecticut. Like I could get a place 5 times bigger than what I had in Connecticut for the same price. That's how crazy it was. So eventually in 2014, I moved out here, and I got this place. This is where I live now.
Where is
and
this
so
with
now
your YouTube timeline? This is you're on Twitch now at 2014, right?
Well, I had started doing direct capture in 2013 and streaming on Twitch, but I was not a full-time streamer. In fact, I never took streaming seriously at all until 2017 when the adpocalypse happened on YouTube.
Okay. Gotcha.
So I streamed, but I made no money doing it. It was a fan service for people who wanted to see me live. I was still 100% in on income I was getting from YouTube ad revenue. That was my way I was making a living.
Okay.
So I moved in 2014. And I'll be honest with you, my channel was starting to slow down. You could see it was getting a slow decline, but there was no like shocking warning signs that things were going to go horribly wrong. Within 1 year of me moving out here, just to give you some perspective here, okay?
Yeah.
I got swatted. I
that's
had a ton of stuff happen behind the scenes to my family that I don't even want to talk about publicly because it's shocking.
Okay. That's fair.
Okay. My channels were stricken down repeatedly with false copyright strikes because YouTube's program is such a piece of garbage. You can just impersonate whoever you want.
Yeah.
And it forced my channel to lose
Was that
millions
the
of
Bethesda
views.
bullshit? Was that where somebody like impersonated or Ubisoft or something?
No, that was the first time that ever happened was back in 2010, and that's why I created a new channel called DSP Gaming. Originally, I was just under DarksydePhil, and someone impersonated an Ubisoft employee and got DarksydePhil shut down, so I started DSP Gaming. Later, I got that cleared up. Yeah. But in 2015, people impersonated different gaming companies, and then they actually listened to this conspiracy, okay? Yeah. They actually made fan art for me to use in my videos.
Oh, I heard about this.
Yeah,
I heard about this.
They put it up on my forums in like January, February of 2015. Oh, Phil, here, use this fan art.
That's brutal.
They waited for me. Yeah. They waited 6 months for me to use the fan art in all these videos, and then they struck them all down on YouTube, saying that I'd stolen it without permission.
That was brutal. That was bad.
Overnight, I had to delete so many videos that my channel lost like around, I think it was between 6 to 10 million views. And when that happens with a YouTube channel, YouTube essentially says that's a red flag. Something's really wrong with the channel that's losing 10 million views. It must have been that they were doing something underhanded or whatever. Yeah. And immediately what the algorithm does, it kicks your channel from the search ratings. Yep. So overnight, my channel, DSP Gaming, that used to be one of the top channels always for gaming, became unheard of. And no one could find it on YouTube. People would search for my videos and couldn't find them on YouTube. And that was the first year during the fall gaming season when a bunch of new video games always come out, September, October, November, December.
Yeah, it's the money
months. That's the money season.
Yeah.
I would get a giant spike in views and a giant spike in money. My views went down.
Yeah.
I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And ever since then, it's been thing after thing. Wait till you hear the next one. So that was 2015. So I'm trying to recover from that. It's very hard because now I've got all this debt in my name. I've got 2 homes in my name, all this stuff going on. Then the next year, I find out my tax accountant from Connecticut did my taxes wrong for several years.
Yeah.
And
well, I know what it's like filing as an internet personality. Good luck finding an accountant that knows how to fucking do that. You know, like...
Well, this one was just laziness. This guy, when I moved out here to the state of Washington, told me, don't worry, even though I'm stationed in Connecticut, I can continue to do your taxes for you. I know what I'm doing. I'm a good guy. I know everything. So he did my taxes for 2014, 2015, 2016. I get a notice at the end of, it was during 2017. I get a notice from the state here. Were you aware that... Yeah, the Washington State. Are you aware that there's business taxes here that you haven't paid for 3 or 4 years, and now you owe us all this money in back taxes? I was like, what? I was told by my guy there's nothing. So I contact my guy. He's like, oh, I don't know, nothing. Don't talk to me no more. Basically, that was his approach. Like, I don't want to hear nothing because he was afraid I was going to sue him. So I had to find a new tax guy. I ended up being so much money in the hole, and now my tax guy charges me so much money to fix this issue. We're talking tens of thousands of dollars, okay, out of nowhere. Money that I already had a decrease in income because of all that trolling activity and the false copyright strikes, and I'm just trying to recover from that. And then this happens on top of it. And since then, it's like seriously thing after thing. And I can't talk about all of it publicly because there's personal things that happen behind the scenes that I cannot disclose. But it's just like, it's a shitty situation where like I'm stuck. And there's no way to fix it. There's no quick fix solution. I'm stuck with multiple properties. The one in Connecticut I can't get rid of because the property I owe way more on the mortgage than what it's worth. The property value actually dipped in the 10 years that I
about that. People asked about the other property. So you're still stuck with that now?
I'm stuck with it.
Unload it.
I can't unload it. I tried short selling it. It got declined. They won't do it. I can't get rid of it. And essentially, it's to the point where no matter what I do, I'm screwed. So I have to choose the lesser of two evils. Do I ruin my credit?
My sister's in that same spot.
So I don't know what I'm going to do. And that's what people constantly ask me, why are you always asking for money on streams? I don't want to. If you actually watch back in the day when I was on YouTube and I was making the big money before all this happened, I never asked for anything. I was happy. I just come make videos, put out the content. It was never about that. I don't want my streams to be about that. In fact, when I'm doing a live stream, the reason I do this lengthy pre-stream is because I want to get that bullshit out of the way so we can have fun with games. That's all I want to talk about is having fun with games. I don't want to have it to be, I have to constantly be like, oh, by the way, reminder, guys, help me with the tip and do this and do that. Whatever. That's not the kind of guy I am, but that's what I've been forced to become over the years because of my financial situation behind the scenes. And people bring it up constantly that Phil's a shill and Phil's only about the money. It's like, but I did YouTube for 2.5 years and never made any money doing it because I loved doing it. Then when I was a full-time YouTuber for 6 years, I wasn't hassling people for money constantly. It was only until all of a sudden in the past 3.5 to 4 years that all these things compiled on top. These really, I mean, I know it's a ridiculous story. Like, so you're going to tell me, Phil, really we're supposed to believe that false copyright strikes made your channel die on YouTube, then your taxes were done wrong, then more stuff happened. Yeah, I know it's a crazy story, but that's my life at this point. And it sucks that that's the reality I live in. And I have to do like I'm doing an event coming up tomorrow where I'm hoping to raise some extra funds so that I can pay bills for this coming month, because if I don't, I'm going to be screwed. I will have overdrafts. I will have fees. People will be calling me, where's your money? Where's the money? And it's like I said, it's come to the point in my personal life now where I have to make a decision. What do I ruin? Who do I not pay, or what decision do I make that's going to ruin my life because of these things that have all compiled? And my hope is that within 5 to 10 years, I can get this cleared up and I can get a full-time job outside of YouTube and Twitch where I've got consistent income that's not reliant on things that can be screwed over for me. And then I can balance that with maybe streaming 2 hours a day, 5 times a week, and I have extra income from that. And I can wean myself off of being such a guy who's forced to be here 6 days a week full-time. Because I am. I can't not. The day I don't stream is the day another bill doesn't get paid. And that's the situation I'm in, and people don't seem to understand that. They think I'm making it up. They think that my money is being put into some bank in the Cayman Islands and I got a yacht somewhere. You know, there's crazy stuff that they say.
You don't strike me as somebody that lives lavishly.
The thing is, my house is nice. Like, this house here is pretty nice. And the reason that it's a nice house is because, like I said, in Washington, house prices are really cheap compared to what I came from in Connecticut. So I was able to get a house for a really reasonable price when I bought it. But you're right. Like, the stuff around me is old. I've had this microphone for 4 years. You know, I haven't bought a backup hard drive to back up videos in 2 years because I can't afford to do it anymore. Like, I'm just done. I've cut every corner. And you're right. Like, I used to be the guy when I made so much money on YouTube. Look at the new statue I frivolously bought today of a Marvel character. I don't do that stuff. I can't afford that anymore. I can't do anything anymore. But people want to pretend like I'm still the Phil from back then and like I'm pulling some scam every day, a new way to scam the viewers and make money, when in reality it's just a really messed up life situation I'm in, and I hope to one day get out of it.
Do you think, 2 questions. Do you ever think about making a new channel? Like, if that other one's been kind of, because I have the quartering and I have like Midwestly and I even have a new third. I'm always creating new channels because I'm always afraid of what happened basically to your DSP gaming channel. Have you thought about trying that?
I've done it.
Okay.
Over the years, I've done it. At one point, I had a channel that was just for fighting games, but that I had to get rid of because Machinima screwed me over at one point.
Oh, okay.
I won't get into that because Machinima doesn't even exist anymore, so who cares?
Yeah.
In 2016, I made a channel called KO Gaming, and this channel was exclusively to be not what I do on my streams, which is just raw gameplay, but this was where I was going to take the footage from the raw gameplay and edit it together into really, high production value game reviews or countdown videos, the kind of stuff that you see on YouTube all the time that's really popular, that's not raw, it's edited stuff. And the channel took off. The channel, within 6 months, I had a video that had over 1 million views. I was making thousands of dollars on it. It was really good.
Yeah.
And then guess what happened? YouTube demonetized it.
Really?
For no reason. Every video I started uploading got demonetized, and they wouldn't explain why. I would have to basically submit the dispute.
Yeah, the request. Yeah.
It would take 4 days. They would fix it, but I'm working my ass off putting videos on YouTube, and I can't make any money on them. After 4 days, you can't make any money on a video anymore. It's already live.
I know that. Yeah, you get 80% of your views in the first 24 hours, and then they finally greenlight it.
They fix it. So for me, it was like, there was 2 things that happened. That happened, and then also, of course, my detractors immediately knew that channel was me and started spamming the videos with downvotes and nasty comments. This is DSP, the person who we hate. Here's all the nasty stuff he's done over the years. How are you going to have a new audience of people come into a channel that looks like it's fresh and new and it's exciting, and the first thing they see is disgusting stuff about, defamatory stuff about me in the comments?
Yeah.
They don't even care. They're like, I don't care about that. I watched the video. It's actually pretty good. But they get bombarded with the toxicity. So it was a combination of the 2 factors that in 2017, when the YouTube apocalypse hit, I was like, so not only are they going to demonetize every video on the channel, but then I can't make money anyway because they just halved the amount of money you can make on a video to begin with. Why am I going to focus on YouTube anymore? And that's when I decided enough is enough. I know I have enough of a supportive fan base. I'm taking my ass to Twitch, and I'm just going to do this full time. And I had enough of YouTube. And that's my attitude for the past 2.5 years is my videos are just archives of what I do on Twitch. And I don't care. I'm not going to edit nothing. I'm not going to put the hard time and effort into doing that kind of work that I did for a whole year there on KO Gaming just to have it destroyed because of a YouTube algorithm because they're lazy over there. So I'm not going to put up with it anymore. But I tried to diversify, and sadly after a year it didn't work out anymore.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I mean, I completely understand why you feel that way. And you're really more of a streamer anyway, since, really gameplay videos, I think, evolved to streamers.
Live streams. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Let's Plays were huge in 2010, but now we're all streaming. And, well, I'm not, but streamers stream these games, and that's where people like to watch them. So let me ask you, and we'll wrap it up here in the next less than 10 minutes. You've been great. I do appreciate the time.
No problem.
So, where do you think? How do I put this? Where do you want? Kind of, when you say that you want to wean off YouTube and get into like something more stable. I understand that. I YouTube too. I don't stream, but we live by the same basic rules.
Right.
And I work full time still. And I tell my people constantly, like my viewers, like I'll never quit my job. What was the last job that you even remember? What was the last thing you did before you started this?
I was working for a helicopter parts company based out of Connecticut. They were a subsidiary of a much larger company called Sikorsky Aircraft, which is a part of another big company called United Technologies. You might have heard of them because they make a ton of stuff. And this company essentially was the middleman between someone who owned a helicopter and the companies who would repair helicopter parts. So if you owned and operated a helicopter, maybe you were an oil rig company and you need to fly your people back and forth to the oil rig. I was the guy who would take your call. I would listen to your problem. I would talk to my guys, my techs, figure out what's going on with your helicopter, place an order for a part for you, or I would get your part in that's broken and get it repaired for a reasonable price and get it back to you as soon as I could. So I did that for about 2.5 years. And then the job told me that they wanted me to expand and do more. So even though I was getting paid to do the job of a customer service rep, they trained me in what's called Achieving Competitive Excellence, or ACE, which is continuous improvement. What I would do is I would look at a part of a job and I would map out every step of the process. So, for example, with a YouTuber, you would say, step 1, brainstorm the idea for the video. Step 2, record the video. Step 3, edit the video. Step 4, upload. And I would map out that process step by step and say, what step is the step that takes so long that you really should shorten this to save more money or make it more efficient. And I went for training for all of this, and I redesigned 2 entire processes within the company. So for 5 years, I worked for this company. For 2.5 years, I'm getting paid the job of like a line level customer service rep while I'm doing a job of someone who should be getting paid double.
Yeah.
Then the company completely screwed up and lost all this money and laid me off.
Of course.
Out of nowhere. So I never got paid for any of the work I did. Like all this, I was promised the world, oh, you're going to get promotions for doing all this extra work. I got laid off out of nowhere, blindsided. And thank God I was doing YouTube during that time as a hobby for about 2.5 years, and I had something to try to do to make a living because there was nothing else available in Connecticut in that job sector. I would have had to get a job that probably paid way less money, and I had just gotten a condo and all this debt in my name there for that job. I had actually gotten a condo. I purchased it. It was like 2 blocks away from the job to try to be able to go to work more quickly and everything. And they screw me over. I'm the guy they lay off, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, like I jumped right into YouTube after that. Luckily, it was a miracle because, like I said, I never expected that YouTube would be something I would make $1 doing.
Yeah. So, okay, and if I'm being over presumptuous here, I apologize. But even so, like where my YouTube channel is now, somebody might look at it. When your channel was peaking, it was like 13 million views. That's where I'm at.
Right. And congratulations, dude, because that's great. I remember what it was like back then.
Yeah. But I've had plenty of cautionary tales before me, so I've been, I know. I mean, look, neither one of us are going to do this. Probably 5 years from now, we're both not doing this anymore.
At least not full time. No way.
Yeah, right. What would be your dream job type, or like, it doesn't have to be a dream job, but the type of field you'd like to be in after you stabilize?
See, for me, ultimately, my old plan when I was making the big money on YouTube was that I wanted to do that for, say, maybe 5 to 7 years and save up enough money that I could open up a different kind of business completely separate from the internet, a brick and mortar business. What it would have been, I have absolutely no idea. I tossed around ideas with relatives and stuff that I could do a restaurant, I could do a some kind of a sales business. Who knows, right? I don't know. But that was my plan. Was I knew even back then the YouTube thing wasn't going to last forever, and that I wanted to diversify and do something completely different. And the money I was making at that point looked like I would be able to save it up and do it. And then all the stuff happened to me over the years that's not viable anymore. That would be my dream thing, to be able to own and operate my own business outside of YouTube, and outside of Twitch. That would be something that I could say, not only am I my own boss, which I am now, but now I could do something that maybe isn't so reliant on internet interactivity and people messing with you constantly. You know what I mean? Yeah. You come to my stream and you mess with me, you get moderated or whatever, big deal. You come to a business and you start doing stuff in person, you're going to get arrested. Right? So there's a big difference there. And I know that would probably be something more I could control or whatever. Of course, you always have an online factor. Imagine if I had a restaurant and the trolls
yeah, it would be the best. You'd have
his spaghetti his spaghetti smells like his gout or something, Yeah. It's just the dumbest shit. But that's what I mean. Like, that's what I always wanted to do. And it just sucks because right now that's the dream. The dream would be, let's say in 5 years, I could get myself to a better position. I could just do any kind of job to get myself stable. And eventually, if I could save money to do it, but I don't know. At this point, those days are kind of gone, where I have those kind of aspirations. To me, I just want to have a day where I don't have to worry about what bill is not going to get paid or gets paid today. And, what call am I going to get that's my bank account bounced on this one. And that's just the life situation I'm in now. So,
well, yeah, I'd like to see you get to a point where, I really would, to where you're making your monthly income tax payments and you don't get in this situation every year.
Right.
Because I could tell you, as somebody who struggled to get there, now that I'm there, this is the second year that I've done it, and life, it's like you live on a little bit less, but then you don't live in fear from January to April, and then extend your taxes to October if you're like me. But all right, we'll finish on a funny note. All
okay.
Right? I have this is the most popular question.
Okay.
You're right. Where did the load go?
A tissue.
Oh,
Very
okay.
simple.
Oh,
Very
okay.
yeah,
Well,
nothing.
yeah.
Yeah, nothing complicated, nothing crazy. A tissue.
All right.
I wasn't stupid. I'm not dumb. It's
Yeah.
hilarious. I get so many questions. Phil, what were you watching when it happened?
Oh, what were
Phil,
you watching? Will you share
honestly,
that?
I don't even know. I can. Here's what I can. Because here's
Some
how I answer.
generic thing.
I swear, and the thing is because you get a younger audience who are very immature and they think it's some big production. What happened, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, most of us know, by the way, you and I are both in our mid-30s as men. We know how we know how it goes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like it's just a thing. It's a frivolous thing. Get it over with, and then move on with your day. Right.
Yeah. It's on my schedule.
These kids think that I apparently had aromatherapy candles in the background and I was like rubbing body oils on my body and getting all into it on the stream. No,
that would
it
have
was
been amazing if it was though.
It was so stupid. It was a frivolous, stupid thing. And it's people. That's what they. Oh, he didn't even wash his hands because I had tissues. What do you think I'm doing here? It's like you guys are freaking out of your minds with the stuff that they make up about this. But you know what? Out of all that, as silly as it is, and the fact I know I'll never live it down, I laugh at it all the time. It's hilarious how stupid
you got
it
really
is.
lucky. That's what I always say about it. I was like, man, he's lucky his dong wasn't on camera. Like,
right?
You got. I mean, as unlucky as you were to have the stream on, you were equally lucky that you didn't get a lifetime ban. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And it's a thing that people say, the people who spin it. Did you know that DarksydePhil is a chronic masturbator who does it in front of thousands of children every morning? This is his ritual, and here's the evidence. And they show the screen capture of my face. And like, are you crazy? But people believe it because people have talked about it for 3.5 years now, and they they think that this is like something what really happened. The true story is it was early morning. The stream, I turn on my stream and I play music. Now I play music. Back then I just used to play like the PS4 dashboard theme while I run some promo ads over the screen to show here, go buy something from my Teespring store, blah, blah, blah. And I was running it and I accidentally had left my webcam on from the night before on the screen in the corner. I had no knowledge.
Obviously,
of it.
Yeah.
And it's an honest, and it's a stupid thing to happen. And I know I'll never live it down. But it's not a big deal to me. Like it was. Is it embarrassing? Hell yeah! If anything, the one thing that's come out of it positive. If anyone asks me, "What's the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to you, Phil?" I don't have a hard time answering. I got right away. Yeah. But outside of that, like I was lucky. You're right. I'm always smart. You notice today my webcam. You don't see anything below the belt here. Yeah. It's always my upper torso. This is how it's always been. So I knew when people exaggerate for it to be something so ludicrous, it's like, did you actually even see what it was? Yeah. It's just my O face. That's all it is. You don't see anything else. But people want to make it out like it's the worst, horrendously disgusting thing ever. You watch movies. Did you ever see American Pie? That fucking Jason Biggs did way worse than I did in that movie. And he got paid for it and I didn't. So it's like.
Well, you got paid kind of. I mean, it would have been amazing if there was aromatherapy and oils. Like, I mean, it will still always be popular, but, if it had been a big production, was there ever any, like, what the fuck did so here's the other theory around it, is that Twitch was, like, had some in-depth conversations with you about it. My position has always been, no fucking way Twitch was like, yo, Phil, what the fuck? My guess is it's been, like, totally generic. But was there any communication at that time with Twitch or anything like that? Here
we go, and here's the great answer. Get ready for this one, because this is so hilarious to debunk all of it. I wasn't streaming on Twitch at the time. I was streaming on YouTube.
Oh,
there was 2 years that I wasn't streaming on Twitch because at one point Twitch had forced me to lower my bit rate. And
I remember that was in the I remember that.
Someone had probably asked about that. They basically came into one of my streams like a year before this had happened and said, "You're streaming too high." I'm like, dude, are you serious? Like other people are streaming way higher than me, and my quality, if you make me lower, is going to look terrible. So I had issue with that, and I had left Twitch for 2 years.
What a weird thing to say. How early was that? I can't even imagine somebody saying anything like that nowadays.
That was late 2015. Fall of 2015, I was playing an Assassin's Creed game, and they told me to lower my bitrate, so I did, and my stream looked like shit, and I said, I'm out of here. And I left for 2 years. I didn't come back until early 2017. Huh. But that's the thing. What, did Twitch say anything? No, Twitch wasn't involved. It happened on YouTube.
That's funny.
And
Yeah. Okay.
the thing is, on YouTube, I didn't auto archive anything when it came to the pre-streams. So there was nothing. The only people who got footage of this were people who literally stalk me every day, and they illegally record my streams just in case something like this happens. And boy, did they get their jackpot that day.
Oh,
right?
literally.
It went everywhere viral within minutes. It was everywhere all over the internet. And you know, for me, it's like, then that's the thing, the slander. Oh, well, did Twitch ever say anything? YouTube didn't say anything because I never uploaded it. After it broadcast that first time, it never was live on any of my channels, so there was no evidence of anything that had ever happened. It was everyone else posting the content that was basically propagating it, not me. So YouTube never contacted me. Machinima did contact me, and because they were my partnership network at the time. They said, "Are you okay? Like, what's going on? Did you have like a big fallout?" And so I was like, you know, it was, nothing really happened. People are laughing at me. I'm laughing with it. I don't, you know, I'm not denying it. I'm just kind of having a laugh at it. And it seems like it's working out and everything's fine. So after that, Machinima never bothered me about it again. YouTube never contacted me, and I wasn't on Twitch. So nothing ever happened in regards to it, which is why it's ludicrous when you hear Phil, he masturbated in front of thousands of children.
Millions!
How many people? There was like 60 people on the pre-stream, and no one was watching because it was just the ad cards running. So no one was even there. It was just a honest, innocent mistake. It wasn't some exhibitionist crazy stunt that I pulled or anything.
Yeah. Well, nowadays on Twitch, if a girl did that, I'd assume it was a stunt. But who knows these days? Look, you've been extremely generous with your time. Is there anything? First of all, I'm going to link your channels in the description. Cool. And your Twitch stream and stuff
please
like that.
Spell my channel correctly on Twitch, which Twitch failed to do when they tried to promote me a couple of weeks ago, and then they had to take it down, which was hilarious.
Yeah, I will. I'm not Twitch. Is there anything, you know, that you would want, a parting thought that you'd want to, you know, say to anybody?
What I would say is two things. The first is, out of all the negative stuff you've heard about me, some of it's probably true, and some of it is probably gross exaggeration. I openly admit that when I started, the first 3-4 years I did YouTube, I was a complete asshole. I made many, many mistakes back then. I fess up to the things that I said and did, and I wish that I hadn't done them, because I really feel now that I've become a more mature person over the years doing this. And now that I'm an interactive streamer and I actively have these direct interactions with people every day, I see that what I say and do actually affects people on a daily basis. And I didn't see that back when I was just uploading videos to the cloud on YouTube. I didn't have that live interaction. I didn't get to see that. And I thought it was just a joke. And I admit, I said horrible things about game developers. I said things about games and stuff that people still take me to task for to this day as if it happened yesterday. I'm not like that anymore. And if anything, give a stream a shot. Come by a stream of mine. Give it a look. If you like it, great. If not, don't. You know, but don't just blanketly believe what people say about me, because sadly, it's become kind of a mob mentality to believe everything that's negatively said about DSP because he's the lol cow. He's the guy who so much bad stuff has happened in his history. All of it must be true. When you get crazy things like Phil hired a escort to come visit him for 3 months one year, and in reality it was all fabricated. It was scammers in Europe trying to extort me for money behind the scenes. They had made this whole thing up. That's the kind of stuff that becomes like a fact because people believe everything. So don't take it all with a grain of salt. Some of it may be true, some of it not. Come check out my streams, right? And the other thing is, you know, understand that it's tough doing what we do for a living. You know what I mean? Like, we have a public face, and when I started doing this 10 years ago, there was zero track history of anyone else who had done it before. I had no one I could look at as someone who I could learn from and say, wow, they screwed up. Let me learn from those mistakes. I made tons of mistakes over the years. I wish that there was someone who I could have looked at their history. Like, people now look at me and see all the stupid shit that I did over the years. And they say, don't be like DarksydePhil, because look what you did, right? And I admit, you're right. I am like a case where you can watch my 11-year history and say, don't do half the stuff he did because look at what happened to him. But please understand that I'm an evolving human, and I feel that I really have honestly tried to change for the better over the years. And the fact that people think that things on the internet are black and white and last forever and people don't change is really messed up. You know, it's just look at, like we've talked about, cancel culture and all of that. Comedians say something 10 years ago on Twitter, and now they can't even do a stand-up comedy act because people hate them for something they did 10 years ago. That's how it is a lot of the times with me. And it's like, I don't know how do you fix that? How can I change now and make people believe that I'm different than who I was 10 years ago? I don't know how. All I can do is try to honestly put out the best content I can on a daily basis and not remake those same mistakes that I did, way back when. So if you just give me a shot, maybe you'll like me. If you don't, who cares? Don't ever come back. Go jump back on the lolcow, train and laugh and everything. I don't care. Do all that. Just please understand that what you say and do on this planet has repercussions, concrete repercussions to people. And I and my family have had things happen to me because of the nasty stuff that people have said about me that's not true. Forget the stuff that's true. I don't care about the masturbation thing. Go ahead and joke about it till the cows come home. But when you call me a scammer, when you say that I lied to the IRS about my taxes, which I've never done, when you do horrible things behind the scenes to my wife and my family, that's really messed up. And it's remarkable. People say to me every day, how do you keep doing what you're doing? I'm like, I don't know. I just must have like the thickest skin, because some of the stuff that people say and do to me on a daily basis, I know people would have given up a million years ago. But I love what I do for a living. I don't want to give up on the fans who I've been here for a very long time. A lot of people have stuck with me over the years, very loyal fans. And just please understand what you say and do has repercussions. Don't be like me 10 years ago, where I would just say and do anything on a video or a stream just to get shocked. It's not worth it if you're going to actually hurt people to get a laugh or a jolly, or to get yourself over, to get you cheap views and money on YouTube. Please be more conscious of what you do, because it does have concrete consequences for the people who you are doing that to.
Yeah, hey, well, that's good advice, I think, in general. And, to me, Phil, I've never had any interactions with you before, and I know there will be people in the comment section of this video that say, Jeremy, I fucking hate you because you didn't call him out on this or call him out on that. And I said to you up front that, and I'll probably put a bumper on this video that tries to like explain that wasn't my intent. It's not my intent to prove or deny X, Y, and Z of particular controversies that you've had in your life. Who the fuck can track them all?
Right.
But what I'd hope to do is get to know you and let people also get to know you. And look, you stood by everything you said. You said, hey, we talked before this. You said, look, I'll talk about that, or I won't talk about this or that, but I'll talk about whatever. And we met in the middle. I got some questions, and I hope that people watching this were entertained. I definitely had a good time talking to you.
I enjoyed talking with you as well. And like I said, the reason I wanted to do this, because that was another question. Why now? Why would I do this particularly with you? Because you actually did a fair video about me. You made fun of me in it, and fair enough. But you were fair and honest, and you actually defended me when these media was coming out of nowhere trying to cancel me, which is hilarious. Like, that's ever going to work. After the shit I've been through, you think you could really cancel me? You're out of your mind. But you were so honest and fair with me, and I was like, this seems like a down-to-earth guy that I could have a conversation with, unlike a lot of the other people over the years who tried to get me on their shows for shock factor, or they want to get you questions. I'll get them with a get you question, and now we got that snippet we wanted. I didn't get that vibe from you from the video you made, and I said, maybe I'll reach out and see what happens, and I had a great time.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. I know you streamed tonight. Hopefully, I think you have off tomorrow.
Nope, I'm here. I'm every day. I only get 1 day a week off.
Oh, all right. Well, okay. Well, then you'll be working tomorrow. This will come out in the afternoon. I'm gonna head to bed. It's earlier for you than me. It's a little after 1 now. But thanks so much, Phil.
Great. Thank you for having me.
Hey, thanks so much for watching this video, and I really hope you enjoyed it. Above, you'll find some links to watch more videos, as well as a nice big button to subscribe, which I hope you'll do. If you did enjoy it, make sure before you go that you leave a like and a comment on the video, because you are the #1 reason this channel continues to grow, and I appreciate you.